Dave.
And I'm Jeff.
And this is Preview with the Prior.
The show where we make predictions about the upcoming episode of Better Call Saul.
Often incorrectly.
There we go. All right. I know that's totally going to be cut down in post, but that probably took us about 3 tries, I think, to get correctly, because this year, ladies and gentlemen, we have our nothing important third mic. Jeff is going to be joining us on Preview with the Prior, and he's kind of just gotten into Better Call Saul, and so we figured it'd be fun to have him on these shows to give his ideas.
So quick background for me also is I have not watched Breaking Bad all the way through.
See, but that's also...
I've seen pieces here and there, so I'm watching this truly in
its own context,
in its time format.
Awesome. Well, you know what? That's okay, because it's totally the kind of show where you really don't need to see its predecessor,
right,
to understand where it's going. So, just a couple notes before we make our predictions, because Preview with the Prior isn't really that long of a show. It's just kind of a discussion piece at the end of the week. But true to form, and we've been doing this for a couple years, right, Dave? We take tweets and messages that people send us about stuff that we might have gotten incorrectly, or observations they've made, and we read them on air.
Indeed.
So, first off, I want to say everybody needs to follow Brandon K. Hampton on Twitter.
Yes.
He's trying to get to 1,000 Twitter followers. He's a friend of the show, a friend of ours, and just an all-around great dude. So I saw today he's trying to get to 1,000 Twitter followers. So please make sure to follow Brandon K. Hampton.
Get on that train, because that dude's on the way up.
Mm-hmm. He is. So, Dave, we kind of had a little bit of a debate during our 301 discussion, where we were talking about the Gene scene. And, here, let's ask Jeff, because Jeff is new here. Jeff, in the opening scene of 301, when Gene is sitting on the bench and the shoplifter gets hauled away, who calls Gene an asshole?
I thought it was the cops.
Okay.
For informing the kid of his rights.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. I thought it came.
Yeah.
I thought it
Did
came
it
from
come
the cops.
after he said get a lawyer?
Yes.
I still think it was the kid, though.
No, the tiebreaker, we're going to go to our old friend on Twitter, Mall of America.
Oh,
MAUL
yeah.
of America. And he says, guys, it was the white-shirted police officer who calls Gene an asshole.
Really?
Boom!
Yeah. I knew that, Dave. I was sitting there, I was thinking, I'm like, because I watched it twice, and I remember I paid special attention to that.
Well, did he do something else, or was it just for saying to get a lawyer?
I think it was because he yelled at the guy to get a lawyer, and for some reason the police officer didn't like that.
Well,
he says, "Thanks a lot."
They didn't like them. They didn't like that they were telling the kid who blatantly shoplifted and had the evidence on him and everything like that. They didn't want somebody to inform him of his rights.
Because that's not the cops.
They just wanted him to confess and get it over with. Right.
Okay, fine. Cactus moment.
Also, I have to go back on something a little bit here. I did say that I found it kind of lame that Ernesto accidentally hit the play button to play the tape so he could hear it.
Uh-huh.
For some reason, I misinterpreted that entire scene, and I thought they set it up to where Ernesto accidentally hit the play button somehow. But our Twitter friend, Grammy McRae, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, basically says, "Hey, dumbass, Chuck hit play before he had Ernesto change the batteries."
I thought I was thinking about saying that, but at the risk of looking stupid, I thought the play button was already depressed, and they put the batteries in and it fired up, because we don't have that in today's technology. Everything's a touchscreen.
Yeah. So,
damn kids and their technology.
Mm-hmm. And lastly, remember I made a comment about when Paige and Kim were in the Mesa Verde branch, and I was talking about that big sculpture.
Yeah, the Pecos Bill sculpture.
Yeah, if you listen to the official Better Call Saul podcast by Kelly Dixon, who's like the editor in charge of Better Call Saul, like the head guru over there for editing, she talked to Vince Gilligan, and he said that was actually like a giant like foam core board
Really?
prop.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Because remember, I even said, I'm like, wow, those location scouts
all right.
are pretty damn good. How the
Yeah.
hell did they find that? And that's a prop.
You know, Brandon said something over the weekend about how these guys must be on drugs. Because how do you think of that? Like that prop it was designed just so they could do that camera pan.
Right.
Like that's some deep artistic shit right there. Like,
Well, they
let's
said-
not just have a statue. Let's make it in two pieces, and we'll split them off, and then we'll pan the camera so it comes into one when it gets there. Like, that's genius, man.
Right. And Vince Gilligan said, when they try to develop the world of which we're watching, they often have several meetings over minute topics to build the authenticity.
Yeah.
So that was like one of those things where they had multiple meetings to say, like, well, how can we like visually represent Mesa Verde in an iconic way? And they came up with this giant ass sculpture. He said at first they started at 8 feet, and then they went to 10 feet, and then they said, to hell with it, let's make it 18 feet tall. So the props department came up with a way to make basically a giant foam core sculpture that looks like it's made out of iron.
Awesome. Well done.
It's pretty.
Yeah. Well, if you base it off of, I mean, you know that those guys think about that kind of crap all the time.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the end of season 2, it wasn't the last episode. I think it was the episode before that with that long pan shot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, that's following everybody with the dogs
yeah.
and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they obviously had to sit and plan that out for whatever reason, meticulously. So they are on drugs.
Yeah.
They're on drugs.
Either way, pretty impressive stuff. So,
Did you, while we're going over this kind of stuff, did you get a conclusion or definite answer to are we together, are we not together? Between Kim and Jimmy? Or we kind of debated that for a sec?
okay, so yeah, we can ask Jeff this. Jeff, did Kim say that
Yes.
they are partners or are not partners?
She said that they're not partners.
They're not partners.
She took over those cases. Right. She took over those cases because all those people were sitting and waiting.
Mm-hmm.
And, he basically begged her to help him. But now that she got involved, they're her cases.
Gotcha. Okay.
So she wasn't going to hand them back.
Gotcha.
So
okay,
I win. I win that one.
Yeah. You got that one. I was totally incorrect on that one. So, okay. So I'm glad that we cleared up everything from 301. So moving on, of course, it is preview with the prior. So we do have to make predictions for the next episode. I can't do it because I've already seen episode 302.
You bastard.
I know what's going to happen. So, Dave, if you want to go first, where do you think the next episode goes?
As far as, let's pick a lane. Who do you want to start with? Mike?
Yeah, topic.
Yeah, there
Okay.
you go. Pick
We'll
Mike.
start with Mike. And I think that Mike is going to meet with Gus.
Mhm.
And I think that Gus is going to at least start to explain to him why he stopped him from assassinating, was it Hector, right?
Yeah. Mike tried to assassinate Hector.
Yeah, and then that was when he stopped him. So I think it was Gus that stopped him, and I think we'll find out why.
Okay.
At
Jeff,
least
where
start
do you
to.
think?
I'm not sure he's going to go full into it, but I think we'll start to figure out why.
I think that he's going to, meet up with Gus and figure out all the tracking and, what was the intention of the don't and all that kind of stuff. And then Gus is going to shoot him and Ehrmantraut's going to die.
and then it's
Stay tuned for the resurrection
And then-
episode.
And then
and
then it's
and then Mike Ehrmantraut in Breaking Bad is like the evil twin. like
yes,
they have
that's
to
his.
go-
It's actually his brother who took upon his name and persona.
yeah, much like
Classic trope.
much like Gallagher
Of a drama.
much like Gallagher the comedian.
Yes,
right?
Yes, exactly.
right.
No, I don't think
Dave,
that.
Chuck-
I really
Chuck
don't
and
think
Jimmy,
that
where-
a lot is going to get figured out.
Say that again, Jeff.
I said I don't think a lot's going to get.
All right.
I don't know if a lot of stuff is going to get figured out as far as that plot line goes. I mean, I think it's going to baby step.
Yeah.
And you're not really going to find out anything cool that's going on until probably episode 3 or 4.
That's why I kind of wanted to quantify and say you'll start to. Because, they don't ever give everything
Yeah.
up right away.
Right, especially with see, that's the thing is like when you read
Wait, I'm gonna say this. Gus offers Mike a job. Mike needs money, right? He's doing all the side work for extra cash.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm gonna say that Gus offers Mike a job.
All right, solid prediction. I do like what Jeff said though. Is like just to point it out, because it's funny. Like when you go on the forums and anything that talks Better Call Saul, people still don't realize that stuff does not, especially with Better Call Saul, it doesn't come to light real quickly.
Right.
So like it's funny because I was watching the comments more than I was watching the episode play on TV because I'd already seen it like 3 goddamn times.
Uh-huh.
So like it was interesting to me to watch the real time discussions that people were having about it, and people are like, it apparently would go to commercial, and people are like, oh man, next scene that's when Gus comes back and this is gonna happen. It's like where did that even like become a thought in your head that they do anything that quickly ever?
Because Gus is in the commercials to promote the show, so you assume he's going to be in that first episode, but no, they're going to string you along.
Right.
Yep.
Always leave him wanting more.
Now, I can't say anything about episode 2, except for I will say there are, let me say this. Remember how Ken... Jeff, you might know, but Dave, remember how Ken Wins,
Yeah.
like, surprisingly came back in the first episode of last year?
Uh-huh.
There's another really great ancillary character that appears next episode as well.
Nice. I'm going to predict that it is... I don't know. I don't know. It's so hard for me to remember Breaking Bad. Now it's been like 3 years since I've seen it.
Right.
And I haven't gone back and watched it.
Well, you don't have to guess on that.
I'm going to say it's Steve.
Steve? Just Steve?
Steve.
Oh, Steve is Steve Hank's partner, or just a guy named Steve?
Steve.
Okay.
You know, Steve.
Oh, good old Steve. Yeah. Okay.
Badger.
Yeah. Sorry. I'm already going to
Badger.
apologize to the listeners. I'm sorry. Okay.
Okay, perfect. And finally, thoughts on Chuck and Jimmy. Where's that headed?
I don't think it's even going to get into that in this episode.
Okay, you think it's going to be about the other? It'll just kind of like put that one on the burner for a bit.
Yeah, I think that'll come back later. I think that anything involving Jimmy is going to have to do with trying to get back into Kim's good graces, and there's probably going to be a lot of Mesa Verde stuff, I'm thinking.
Okay, Jeff.
Yes, I agree with Dave. I think it might be mentioned here, or there might be a little flash to it or mention of it, but I think that they're going to be setting something up. The next episode is pretty much going to be dedicated to setting something up for the next 4 or 5 episodes.
Yeah, and I'm thinking
So
it might have...
I don't even know what that's going to be.
To elaborate on Jeff's point, it's going to be something to do with Ernie. I just think that Ernie's going to turn on Chuck, and that ball has to get into motion soon also. I mean, it kind of was in motion because the way Chuck talked to Ernie, but I just kind of see that boulder getting a little push this week.
Awesome. Okay. And for those of you listening out there, first off, thank you for coming back for the first preview with a prior of season 3.
We're back on the iTunes charts. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always
woot.
It's always good. It's always good to be on the charts, and that's all because of you folks out there listening to us and our stupidity. Please make sure that if you have any predictions or ideas, that you send them to us at host at It's All Good Man or over Twitter at ISGM Podcast, and we'll make sure to give you props if you guess what's going on. We're always good with that. Now, unfortunately, I don't have T-shirts this year. However, that doesn't mean we won't get them. So keep an eye out for that. I'll keep trying to work on getting some premiums from AMC. And in the meantime, please make sure that you check out the Nothing Important podcast. We talked to a bunch of great people. This year alone, hell, it's been Rick Astley, Michael McKean, Mike Rowe from Dirty Jobs, just a slew of really good guests over there. And of course, those are going to keep coming. So for Dave and Jeff and myself, we'll talk to you about episode 302. Remember, we upload our podcast. It is published just as the credits roll. If we were any faster, we'd be live. See you then.
Ladies,